this sounds ridiculous, but listen before you call me insane. I'm running this because I can't sleep. I have dated him for a year. He is Italian and I'm an American student in Rome. Looking back, there had been signs even early on. I took all of this as cultural at first. One of our first dates, we were talking about our families and he showed me a picture of his sister and raved about her beauty. She is actually gorgeous. She's a classic Italian beauty and very chic. I was jealous of her then, but had no idea where this was going to go. I have only been around her a handful of times, but she had made it clear she does not approve of us dating. She's icy, distant, and hostile. She has said in front of me that he should be with an Italian. She speaks several different languages, including English, but every time I've tried to talk to her in English, she replies in Italian. You are in Italy, speak Italian. She once told me he'll be gone soon. My boyfriend is openly very affectionate with her. He dances with her and whispers in her ear, kisses her cheek and the side of her mouth, hugs her closely. Every time I've seen them together, he's brought her a nice gift. People here are genuinely affectionate, but everything combined is off. Once at a family dinner, I was helping his mom with the food and he and his sister went out to the patio. I looked out and she was sitting on his lap. What sister does that? I also found this very weird while watching Friends when Monica and what's the fuck's his name? Ross would sit on each. I'm like, that's weird. If I ever try to sit on my brother's lap, I think he would like punch me. I have also seen her caress his bare chest at the beach. This same time at the beach, he carried her in the water with her legs wrapped around his waist and his hands were practically on her ass. Sorry, I can't help but laugh, but this is fucking weird. If they did this when they thought I couldn't see, what do they do when they're really alone? He's also gotten into a physical fight with her boyfriend, but I'm not sure what it was about. Earlier tonight, my feeling got a lot worse. He never leaves his phone sitting around, but he did this time. He got a message from her and I looked over. She said, "My heart is yours, my king." And we were met. She said, "My heart is yours, my king, and we were made for each other." To clarify, this is a translation from Italian. I left without telling him. He blew up my phone, but I have no idea what to say to him. This has been my best relationship, but this cannot be normal, can it? I'm sick to my stomach and feel mortified thinking about this. A few things worth noting that I forgot to mention. She wears a locket with a photo of them in it. She was sitting across from me at dinner and opened it and gave me a taunting look. At the time, I didn't want to call her out and look crazy, but now I think she definitely was trying to rub it in my face. Also, not only was she sitting on his lap, but she was looking into his eyes and twirling his hair. I also saw him kiss her on the neck near her ear. It wasn't super smoochy, but to me it seemed like a weird place to kiss your sister. There's an update for this. Okay, let's see if she was right. The response to my post made me feel confident. I wasn't wrong about them, so I eventually messaged him to break up. I didn't confront him about his sister because I wanted to part ways smoothly. Once I asked him why she hates me and he told me not to talk about her, so I don't think he'd react well. My fake reason was that there's no future for us since I'll be going back home and he'd never leave his country. He proved he doesn't care about our relationship because he didn't fight for it at all. He replied with a thumbs up. He might know that I saw the messages. It was exciting to be with him because he's so different from what I'm used to, but I was never going to be as special to him as his sister. Not even close. I believe the suggestions that I might have just been a cover. I wish I could link her Instagram because they both went out together the other night and she seems happy. I've unfollowed both of them. One more thing I want to say. I know my post focused on her being petty and taunting, but I don't want it to come across like I think he's innocent and she's Jezebel. I saw him intimate most of the romantic moments. Thanks everybody for the encouragement. I am still creeped out and I feel used, but I'm glad to be free of them. Whatever's between them won't be hovering over me anymore. Oh my god, I wish you had confronted him. I wanted to know if it was true or not. I mean, I think it is. What do you guys think? Tell me to drop the class if I don't like your rules? Okay then, you'll lose 5 students and your job. So when I was a freshman in college, I registered for a basic ass English 102 course that doubled as a humanities credit. I thought, great, 2 birds, 1 stone, despite the rate my professor for this class being abysmal at best. A few things to note. I have ADHD and dyslexia, so I've had a hard time reading most times, but especially handwritten stuff. Even my own. It's also important to note that I had an ADA allowance on file, meaning I get some permissions to allow me to take classes and function as normally as possible. These permissions include use of my tablet during class to write notes and about an hour longer on tests. Well, first day of class, the professor strolls in with the arrogance and snobitude of someone who thinks they're getting tenured this year. He starts talking, going over the syllabus, and says, "There will be no phones, laptops, or technology of any kind in my class. You will write all of your notes by hand," which isn't going to work for me. So I raise my hand and ask him if I can talk to him privately about the rule. That went over about as well as a lead balloon, and he starts getting snippy and says, "Anything you need to talk with me about can be found in your syllabus." But again, I said that I needed to talk to him and that it was pretty important. Finally, he just says to say it to the class. He doesn't have time to take out to deal with whining of any kind. So I say that I'm dyslexic and need my tablet to do the notes and read the assignments, and that my ADA permissions are on file and emailed to all my professors before class. He says, "Yeah, I saw the email, but I don't care. You can do the work just like everyone else. You're not special even if you were in special ed." The class goes deadly quiet at that. I am absolutely shocked at his bold and completely hilarious lack of awareness and care for his job. I'm staring at him open mouthed and he thinks he won. He's got this smug little face like I've just been told and there's no other options, nor is there any way he'll regret his behavior. One of the girls in class finds her voice and calls out his ableism and lack of decorum, but he cuts her off saying, "If you don't like my rules, you can drop the class." So she says, "Okay," and pulled out her laptop and dropped the class right in front of him. In taking the cue from her, 3 other students and I do the same and we leave class together at the same time. I have never met this girl before, but then she asked me if I want to go to the dean because honestly I'm really shaken, so I said yes, and we go straight there telling the dean of students what happened as well as the ADA counselor. They took the girl's statement and mine and discovered that this professor had pulled this shit for years but nobody wanted to get involved. 6 months later, I hear that not only had the professor not gotten tenured, but he was fired and blacklisted from teaching at the college level. For people who don't know what tenure is, that's when a teacher gets like locked in and they're guaranteed their job safety. Am I wrong for refusing to get my son a car because of his weight? I have 3 kids, 16 female, 19 male, and 24 male. I raised them to be fit and healthy, but sadly my 17-year-old son gained a lot of weight after leaving secondary school with bad grades, and he suggested to keep a job. He is not hugely overweight, but it is upsetting to me as I was always careful with their food and taught them to make healthy choices. I bought my 24-year-old a car for his 20th birthday, and I promised to do the same for my 19-year-old, but only if he was able to lose weight and keep a job. He claimed these conditions were unfair because his brother didn't have to do anything for the car, but he kept himself fit and moved out of my house at 18, so he was not a financial drain on me at the time. He accepted the conditions in the end. Did you just call your kid a financial drain? The fact that you called your kid a financial drain says as much as I need to know about yourself as a parent. The reason I added a weight loss requirement for the car is just for extra motivation for him. He's 5'11 and 210 pounds. I know it's not morbidly obese, but it is awful seeing him gain all this weight when he used to be so skinny. He hates his appearance and wants a girlfriend, but he is not confident. Maybe this is not PC these days, but I don't believe in body positivity, and I think if you're overweight, you need to lose weight as soon as possible. I'm worried he will develop a food addiction and get even bigger. The car will make him walk less and make fast food even more accessible, and that is the last thing he needs. Anyway, this was 6 months ago, and his birthday is next month. The attempts to lose weight don't last long, and I think he's down 10 pounds at most. However, he has managed to get and keep a job for the last 3 months, which is great, but it's still not very long, and he's still lazy, playing video games and eating too much. I told him last night I wasn't going to get him the car for his birthday, but he could maybe have the car in another 6 months if he managed to put serious effort into fixing his weight problem and being more healthy, and managed to keep the job. He was very upset with me and locked himself in his room. He feels that his brother is the favorite and he is treated unfairly. This is not true. Unfortunately, his brother has had a drug problem and I've had to bail him out of situations and sent him to rehab twice. This is very expensive, but rehab was a life or death thing. A car isn't. He said that I think being a crackhead is fine, but being fat isn't. But that isn't true at all. I care about both of their health, and being fat will cause serious health problems in the future too. Am I the asshole here? I feel bad for upsetting him, but at this moment, I think a car would do more harm than good. He hasn't stuck to the conditions we agreed and improved his unhealthy lifestyle. I don't know why you think that having a car will encourage him to eat out more, because we have things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that stuff where he has a job, he has money. He'll just, if you really want the food, He'll get it. Car or not, that's not what's gonna help him. The car could also motivate him to go hiking, to go to the gym. So look at the positives it could have brought, but you only focus on the negatives.